1916, cartoonist Arthur Moman began writing a comic strip for the New York World. Eventually, this comic strip ended up in newspapers across the country, and it ran for 28 years. The comic strip's name was based on the neighbors of the main characters. These neighbors had a big house, all the latest stuff, and anything and everything anyone could want. The last name of the neighbors was Jones, and the title of the comic strip, Keeping Up with the Joneses. Keeping Up with the Joneses. This means that we compare ourselves to our neighbors, using them as a benchmark for our social status and the accumulation of material goods. And while the comic strip is long gone, the idea of keeping up with the Joneses is still alive and well today. Keeping up with the Joneses is a contributing factor, a major contributing factor, to people living beyond their means. It leads many people to live in a false sense of reality, doing a juggling act, taking cash advances to pay off other lines of credit, making only minimum payments on their credit cards. And even if we're not living beyond our means in this way, many of us live convinced that we need more and more stuff because the Joneses have it. And thus we continue to consume and consume, thinking it is okay because we can afford it. The truth of the matter is that we have a bit of the prodigal son in all of us. This word, prodigal, from our biblical text for today, is usually thought to mean someone who wanders away or someone who is lost. But the word actually means someone who wastes money. The prodigal son had the habits of squandering and spending. He was a spendthrift, he lived large, and he wanted it all right now, right away, and eventually his lifestyle caught up with him. Many of us struggle with this habit as well. We're not worried about tomorrow, we want it today, and like the prodigal son, our spendthrift lifestyle catches up with us. The famine that we heard about in the text today eventually comes. It comes when we've spent everything we have and even a little bit of next year's income. So we use the credit card and charge it, and we go a little further into debt. And like the prodigal son, finally, we come to the place where we find ourselves. We have nothing left, not even credit. And we can't figure out how we're going to make it. Like the prodigal son, we need to get some things clear in our heads. That is, we need to clarify our relationship with money and possessions. We do not exist simply to consume as much as we can and get as much pleasure as we can while we're here on this earth. We have a higher purpose. We need to know and understand our life purpose, our vision or mission, our calling. And then we need to spend our money in ways that are consistent with this purpose and calling. While our society tells us in so many ways that our life purpose is to consume, to make as much money as possible and then blow it on many, many things, the Bible tells us this: we are created to care for God's creation. We are created to love God and love our neighbors as ourselves. We are created to care for our families and for those in need. We are created to glorify God, to seek justice, to do mercy. Our money and possessions should be devoted to helping us fulfill this calling. We are to use our resources to help care for our families and others, to serve Christ in the world through the church, missions, and everyday opportunities. We have a life purpose that is greater than our own self-interests. our God-given resources in ways that reflect our understanding and our commitment to this life purpose and this mission. We need to be clear about our life's purpose and our mission and calling. Being able to accomplish the greater purposes God has for our lives requires some measure of planning. Taking the time to set goals related to our lives and our finances is crucial if we are to become wise stewards of God's resources. Each of us needs to think about our life purpose, our goals, and then identify 2 short-term financial goals, 2 mid-range financial goals, 2 long-term financial goals that are all aimed at accomplishing the broader goals we have in our lives. At least one goal in each category should relate specifically to our faith and how we are to put that faith in action. In your bulletin today, you will see that we have many inserts. I want you now to pull out the pink page. It looks like this. You have to unclip the paper clip, pull it out. We're offering you today several tools to help you consider your faith and your finances, and the first tool is this worksheet, meant for you to use to define your life's purpose and to help you to set some financial goals. The questions on this sheet will help you to get started, and I hope that you will take some time to set these goals at home this week. How would you define or describe your life's purpose? What are 3 goals that can help you achieve this purpose? And what are some financial goals that can help support your life goals and purpose? Once we've set some financial goals, we need to develop a plan to meet those goals. A budget is a spending plan that enables us to accomplish our goals. There are lots of ways to stay on a budget. Some use an envelope system. Many people find it helpful to seek the advice of a trusted financial advisor. For those who find themselves in the midst of a financial crisis, a financial counselor can help to work out terms with creditors and develop a workable financial plan. Whatever the approach you choose, the important thing is simply this: have a plan. Have a plan. Don't fly by the seat of your pants. Have a plan. How can we help each other to have good financial practices? And if we find ourselves in debt, how do we get out of the debt? Most financial experts suggest 4 basic things. Track your spending. That is, know where your money is going each week. It sounds simple enough, but most of us don't know how much we're spending at the grocery store or in restaurants or other places every month. The money just goes through our fingers. Take a good look at this picture of your spending and then set some financial goals. That is the foundation of every budget and every financial plan. Financial goals. What do you want to achieve, and by when? And then the next step is to pay off your debt, if you have debt. It's the best way to simplify your life. Remember a couple weeks ago when I talked about that $9,000, that if you have $9,000 that you owe in credit card debt and you pay the minimum payment at 2%, it's going to take 240 years for you to pay off that $9,000. Well, we did the math at home, my husband and I, and you know what? If you live 240 years and you continue to pay on that minimum payment, guess how much you pay?